Hey everyone, Sleepy Reader here with my weekly comics pickup, which I haven't been doing on a weekly basis, so apologies for that if you enjoy that. I just do it when I have the time now and the inclination. Today I have both the stuff I picked up from my weekly pull list plus some other goodies, so I thought it would be, and the house is empty, so I thought it would be a good time to just throw this up there. So what did I get on my pull list? For starters, I got the Beef #2. I did not get the Beef #1. So, but my comic book store said he could order #1. So I guess I'll get that in a few weeks. It's Shaky Kane. I have a feeling it's a comic to convince you to become a vegetarian or a vegan, amongst other things. But anything by Shaky Kane I get, and I can't think of any time when I've been dissatisfied. Although my least favorite one maybe was the one about the people who herded insects for food, which maybe was along the same lines of a vegetarian kind of comic. This is not written by Shaky Kane. I don't think that other one about the insects was written by Shaky Kane either. I'm not, or is it? It's hard to tell who it was written by. Let's see. Richard Starkings wrote it, and someone also named Tyler Shaneline. And Shaky Kane did the art and color. So there's that. And then the latest Exo Man of War. I thought of picking up Shadow Man, but it doesn't come. I've now come to expect these really nice cardboard covers from Valiant, and I flipped through it, and between that and the art didn't super grab me. It didn't look like it was going to be very dense with story, so I thought I'll wait for trade on Shadow Man. I know that Ghost Critic has been saying he misses the painted style art, but I prefer this. I think I got tired of the painted style art. It went too far for me, and I prefer this line art with some rich coloring. I've really liked the art in the past 2 issues. Although my favorite art was in the first 3-issue arc of Exo Man of War. That was the most savage sort of Conan-like art, I thought. But this looks really good, and I've continued to really enjoy the Exo Man of War storyline by Matt Kindt with many top artists. I think this is the final issue of Mystic U, which I've enjoyed a lot. I know some people have not, maybe because it's too Harry Potter-ish or too teenagery, and some kind of things that are aimed at teenagers don't work for me, but this has worked for me very well. Detective Comics, I'm still way behind on. I'm now really way behind on Detective Comics, because all these weeks that I've been saying I'm way behind in Detective Comics, I still have not gone back and caught up. So I'm getting a little worried about how far behind I am on Detective Comics. Just an issue or 2 behind on Hellblazer. I like this cover. Very cool. I don't know if it's probably a continuation from the issue before, which I haven't read yet. Yeah, it says The Good Old Days Part 2. Anyway, promising cover. The art on the inside looks kind of on the slightly subpar side, but at a quick glance. The storytelling matters as much as the fine art. Now, Shiver Bureau, I got issue #1, and this is the first time I've got put something on my pull from Scout Comics. I perhaps foolishly did it just based on something I saw in previews. Love the covers. The first issue did not impress me very much, and my glance in the second issue, I think I'll be dropping this pretty soon. Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns, I'm also pretty far behind on and need to catch up pretty badly. I like nice spread page there, so that looks good. Terrifics. The first issue was fun. I'm kind of holding my breath till the second artist gets on board, because he'll be more to my taste, unfortunately, than Reyes. Although that looks really good. And I used to be a pretty big fan of what's his first name? Ivan Reyes. think there's two Reyeses out there, but I think it's Ivan Reyes. But I feel like he's leaning more heavily on the Jim Lee side of his art style, rather than the Neil Adams side, so to speak. And anyway, there's just something a little off about his art for me, or at least in the first issue of Terrifics. The pages I glanced at here look pretty good. Demon Hell on Earth has been like every other issue. I've really liked it, and then the next issue not so much, and then back and forth. So I think this will be a good issue, judging by that pattern. I like the cover. I think that is Etrigan's father. Who knew he even had a father? Demons have fathers. Saga, number 50. Kind of a landmark. I think of this maybe it depends on your perspective and how much indie comics you were reading at any given time. But for me, Saga's kind of the touchstone, the beginning of kind of a golden age of independent comics led by Image Comics that's maybe slowly fading now. I'm not sure. Or, it used to be that every week or every month I was out there searching to make sure I didn't miss any of the Image number ones to find the next great series. And now I'm kind of blasé about it. I think there might have been an Image number one this week, and I kind of glanced at the shelves to see if there was one, but I couldn't find it if there was, and I didn't worry about it. I certainly didn't put it on my pull list. But Saga continues to be something that I want to keep reading for sure. And then I got Silencer number 3. I actually dropped it with number 2, and then I saw that number 3 was the end of the first story arc, so I thought it was on the shelf, so I thought, well, maybe I'll just grab it on the shelf. There was nothing wrong with it, but I have so much to read, and it just wasn't a story that grabbed me, even though I usually really like Dan Abnett's writing. Oh, and here's an interesting one. Highest House. I liked the first issue. I didn't love the first issue as I was hoping to, because it's the reuniting of Peter Gross and Mike Carey. And I heard someone say that this is actually a reprint of a European comic. So maybe they released this in the European market first. In what language, I don't know, French, which kind of explains why it is oversized. To match the French album size, perhaps. I'm glad that they are reprinting it in the oversized, if this is the original size, I hope it is, edition, rather than some European comics shrunk down to American comic book sizes read poorly. So I think I like it. I think the coloring is good, but leans into the browns too much for me. I have noticed a lot of indie comics and Euro comics lean heavily into the brown, orangey brown range of colors. I also got Image Plus, the Image kind of previews fanzine kind of thing, which I still don't read all of it and keep meaning to go back and read everything in it. Image Cookbook, interesting. Process, character design. So, yeah, it's, what does it cost? $2, $1.99, or free if you get previews. I stopped getting previews because I was ordering too many comics sight unseen because of previews. So, then at my comic shop, I just saw this on the wall. I really don't know what a good value for this is, and I think my shop usually charges on the high end of pricing for back issues. But I've always wanted to own a copy of this issue of Fantastic Four. I'd like to own the whole run that starts with the revelation of the Inhumans and goes through the Silver Surfer and the Black Panther. To me, that's like such a historically important run. So the sticker price is $40, and so I paid $30 because of my 25% discount. It looks like what I hear some of my more knowledgeable collector friends call a poorly wrapped comic, because I notice how that doesn't line up there. I'm a little afraid to open it. I just made the judgment, how much am I willing to pay for this comic I always wanted, and the price was good enough for me. But I don't know if it's missing pages or anything like that, I'll have to return it. I should have looked at it first. It's quite yellowed. But otherwise seems in good enough condition to me. It's got a lot of Dragon Man. I don't think that the Fantastic Four that know that these people are Inhumans yet. So I don't know at what point it counts as the first appearance of the Inhumans. I don't really care. I just want those issues. It looks to be in good shape, so I'm pretty happy with my purchase. Maybe some of you will tell me, oh no, you could have got this for $15 or something like that, or the condition is terrible with all the yellow pages. Came in Mylar, which probably helped sell it to me. This Mylar seems a bit tight, actually. I have some bigger Mylar, some Silver Age Mylar, that I will put that into. And then, speaking of what should be in Mylar, I, on eBay, won the first 5 issues of Marvel's Conan the Barbarian. There's issue number 1. Issue number 1 is hard to come by at a good price. So I bought it. I bought this lot. And the issue number 1 here is not in the greatest shape. But now I have issue number 1, and I have 2 through 5 also. So I have the first 5 issues, which of course I own in reprints, but I've never owned the originals. So this is nice. There's issue number 2. Barry Smith, when he was still a bit of a Jack Kirby imitator, but already by issue number 3, he was evolving away from that. There's issue number 4. Issue number 5. So, and it would vary on who was inking him. And eventually I think he inked himself before he left comics. So I'm excited to have those. Very cool, although I may have to start slowing down on my... I got to stay off eBay, I think. And then I got my latest in-stock trades haul. And there's 3 books here. But one of them is a substitute book because there was a Steve Ditko Charlton archive edition that I ordered, and then they told me they didn't actually have any copies of it. So they substituted volume 3 of the Avengers Silver Age Omnibus. Let's see. Scissors. So there we go. It's got the first appearance of Red Wolf, I guess. Is that the first appearance? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's got. It looks like it's most of the best of John Buscema on the Avengers. So that's why I wanted it when I had to make a substitution. Then I did get the first volume of this. It's called The Action Heroes, but it's actually Charlton stuff. But DC bought the rights to Charlton, so I guess they have the reprint rights of old Charlton. And I think it's all Steve Ditko. So it's all Captain Atom Steve Ditko. And then volume 2, which I couldn't get through in-stock trades after all, is a thicker volume and has The Question and a bunch of other Ditko creations in it. So let's see, that makes kind of a crackle as you open it. Yeah, it looks like all Ditko. Is that Ditko there? I think so. So I don't know if Ditko wrote Captain Atom or just drew him. All art by Steve Ditko unless otherwise noted. All stories uncredited unless otherwise noted. But some of them say Joe Gill. So I don't know if that means that Well, one credits Steve Ditko and Joe Gill as writers. A couple do. Okay. Well, so who knows? I'll have to research this further. But definitely stuff I want to have, so I'm glad to have it. For all I know, I could get it cheaper in the floppies, except they're hard to find. So I'm quite happy to have this edition from In Stock Trades. And finally, something very new. Brand new, an original graphic novel, Earth 1, Volume 1 of Green Lantern. Green Lantern is, I like Green Lantern, but he's not my favorite all-time hero or anything. But this is drawn and written by Gabriel Hardman, who I am a big fan of. So it's the creator that called me here. And I think he did kind of promise that he was doing this in a very science fiction way. And I know he's good at that from other things I've seen by him. And I love his artwork. It's a lot of green in here. Not super great binding, of course. Thank you, DC. Written by Corina Bechko and Gabriel Hardman. Corina Bechko is his frequent co-writer and his wife. Colors by Jordan Boyd. The colors look good, with lots of green in them. So I'm pretty psyched to have this. So thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a good new comic book day today or on the weekend or whenever you do it, if you get your comics monthly. Sleepy Readers, signing out.
I'm from Switzerland. My mother is a black woman from South Africa, Xhosa woman. And in case you're wondering, Xhosa is one of the languages with the clicks in it, right? Xhosa, ik ben Xhosa, right? But not like in American movies, okay? I've seen those movies where they have Africans and they're like, that's not a language. Yeah, even we watch those movies and we're like, I wonder what they're saying. Where are they from? I think they're from Cleveland. It's not just clicks. But I grew up in a mixed family, and because of that, people will always say like racist things to us growing up. And I was lucky because my mom is probably the most gangster human being you'll ever meet in your life. Nothing gets to her, nothing shifts her, nothing phases her. And one day we're in the streets, some jackass shouted something at us. And I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I'm standing next to my mom. And I looked at her and I said, Mommy, what do we do if people do the racism to us? And she said, oh baby, you know what we do if somebody's racist? We take that racism of theirs and we shake it up with the love of Jesus. And then we send it back. I was like, what? What does that even mean? She said it means when they're racist, you take it, you shake it up with the love of Jesus and send it back. I was like, this lady is crazy. And she was crazy, but she was also right. I didn't even realize how right my mother was until decades later, which is always what happens with your parents, right? They're crazy, and then you get to their age and you're like, oh. Like, I only learned the lesson my mother was trying to teach me many, many, many years later when I was a grown man. I was walking through the streets of Chicago, and a man drove by in a pickup truck and called me the N-word. And I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. Mostly because he was driving a pickup truck. Yeah, I just felt like that was an unnecessary stereotype that he didn't need to perpetuate. I feel like if you're gonna be racist, do something different. You know, think outside the box. Drive a Prius. It's better for the environment, and it's quiet. You can sneak up on me. We both win. But no, he was driving a pickup truck, and... Well, oh, to give you the full story, I was jaywalking. All right, I was jaywalking. Yeah, and I don't tell you this to justify what he did. I just want you to know that I'm no angel. All right? I wanted to cross the road, and the light turned red for me, but I decided to walk anyway, because I don't see color. And this man was so offended by what I'd done that he drove his truck around me, rolled the window down, looked me dead in the eye, and he was like, "Get out of the road, nigger!" Ooh, and you could see he wanted to hurt me. Our eyes locked, and I could see he was waiting for me to be like, But unfortunately, what that man didn't know was where I was from. More importantly, who he didn't know was my mother. Because he thought it was just gonna be a regular racist day. He thought he was gonna drive by, throw the N-word out the window, carry on with his life. He didn't realize that was the son of Patricia stepping into the road. And you know, it happened in a moment, but it felt like it lasted a lifetime. Because I didn't even think. He shouted that word, and out of nowhere, my body was like... I was like, oh shit, this is it! And Portland, it was a moment of magic that I'll never forget. I stepped into the road. He drove his truck around me, rolled the window down, looked me dead in the eye, and he was like, "Get out of the road, nigger!" And I turned and I was like, "Yo, my nigga!" And he almost crashed and died. Like, I've never seen a human being question themselves so many times in a split second in my life. Because I was smiling. And I could see in his eyes, he was like, "Wait, do I know you? Do you know me? Do I look like someone you know?" And then, I'll never forget this, and I still don't really know why, but he looked at his hands. He looked at his hands like they'd somehow magically turned black. Like... Oh, man. I actually felt bad for the guy, man. Yeah, because, I mean, I've been called that word before, but that was his first time. You never forget your first time.